what is up today? One second here, we just gotta figure a couple things out. We're chilling. Alright. We're good, we're golden, we're back. We enjoyed yesterday's video. Oh my goodness, look at that nasty hair. Woo! We'll leave it up. We're gonna leave it up. So today's video is gonna be about fouls. We're gonna go kind of into detail about all the fouls. A couple of these might not apply anymore because of the new ruling. I think actually 309. No, today was the first day of 12 to 6 being legal, as well as one-handed. Grounded opponent is not grounded anymore. So there's two rules that changed today. They were applied today. So some good things happening. So let's hop right into it. So this is from 2017. Unified rules of MMA fouls. So kind of simple. We're gonna go through all of them. Again, this is a little bit of detail. Sorry about the spacing. Couldn't figure it out. It is what it is. So first, butting with the head. So the head may not be used as a striking instrument in any fashion. Any use of the head as a striking instrument, whether head to head, head to body, or otherwise, is illegal. Now, it does happen, unfortunately, sometimes it does happen, unfortunately, to where it doesn't get seen, it doesn't get called. It is accidental. Again, it's very dangerous for you and the other fighter. Both potential knockout. You can knock yourself out. And, we've seen it a couple times. I think there was one last week that there was a headbutt cut caused the cut. So yeah, we just be careful about that. Number 2, eye gouging of any kind. Eye gouging by the means of the fingers, chin, or elbow is illegal. Legal strikes or punches that contact the fighter in the eye socket are not eye gouging and shall be considered legal attacks. So a lot of times the way that the gloves are shaped kind of like makes it look like it's a claw, so it's automatically like fingers are pointed that way. Even with the new gloves that they design, they go down a little bit further, but you still not as much flexibility and not as much just kind of push them away. It's like an automatic thing, that defensive mechanism to hands out. So is what it is. Unfortunately, it happens a lot more than not. I mean, there was 2 weeks I talked about in the last video. I think it was like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, a few weeks ago, where there's like 4 eye gouges, 2 shots to the groin, and I think only 1 or 2 of them got called. It's atrocious reffing, but it is what it is. Let's move on. Number 3, biting or spitting at an opponent. Biting in any form is illegal. A fighter must recognize that the referee may not be able to physically observe some actions and must make the referee aware if they are being bit during an exhibition of unarmed combat. So I think we've heard of this maybe once. Lazy Boy, I think is who it was, and he's got a tattoo of the bite mark now. So pretty funny. 50K bonus, so good on him for that. Yeah, no biting or spitting. Now spitting is an interesting one. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, Michael Chandler spit at Poirier, so it's unfortunate, but you know, fish hooking. I think I talked about this a little bit in the last video, but basically fish hooking, again, any attempt by a fighter to use the fingers in a manner that can attack their opponent's mouth, nose, and ears, stretching the skin to that area will be considered fish hooking. Fish hooking is the placing of fingers into the mouth of your opponent while pulling your hands in the opposing direction while holding onto the skin of your opponent. So basically what that is going to look like is this. I think I just cracked a rib. Oh. Danger, people, danger, don't do that. Oh. Yeah, fish hooking. Alright, let's keep going. Hair pulling. Pulling of the hair in any fashion is an illegal action. A fighter may not grab the hold of his opponent's hair. I guess it should say their opponent's, right? It is what it is. We're inclusive now, guys. We're inclusive. His opponent's hair to control the opponent in any way. If a fighter has long hair, they may not use the hair as a tool for holding or choking or any fashion. So I think sometimes it is a benefit to have long hair, especially if you're grappling, because then you can't really get as tight of a hold on the person sometimes, but it is what it is. Spiking the opponent to the canvas on the head or neck, pile driving. So basically no Undertaker, unfortunately. Again, I talked about this in the last video about Bilal and Edwards. You know how Edwards got spiked. It was an accident, but pile driver is considered to be any throw where you control your opponent's body, placing his feet towards the sky with his head straight down, and then forcibly drive your opponent head into the canvas or flooring material. It should be noted when a fighter is placed in a submission hold by their opponent, if the fighter is capable of elevating the opponent, they may bring that opponent down in any fashion they desire, because they are not in control of their opponent's body. The fighter who is attempting the submission can either adjust their position or let go of their hold before being slammed into the canvas. So I think this is basically similar to what Edwards did. He just didn't let go. He just held on. So strikes to the spine or to the back of the head, including the tailbone. So the back of the head is defined as the area starting at the crown of the head and running directly down the center line of the head, with a 1-inch variance to each side. The entire rear portion of the neck is also legal to attack, starting at the occupational junction and stopping at the top of the trapezius. So basically the optical, it's going to be anywhere from shoot here all the way down to your traps. And then I think from there on it goes down to the spine. So from the trapezius muscle down the spine is protected by the tailbone. So yeah, kick him in the butt. Kick him in the butt. Throat strikes of any kind can be and or grabbing the trachea. So basically anywhere in here, right? Keep clear of that. I don't know if I need to go into too much detail about that. I mean, sometimes it'd be kind of nice to see someone get punched in the throat, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's not allowed. Unfortunately, it's very dangerous. There's a crazy story, not MMA related. It's actually why goalies have a guard on while they're playing hockey now. This dude got slit open. Crazy enough, there's a Vietnam medic there and shoved his finger right into the artery right here, closed it up, but insane stuff happens. So fingers outstretched toward an opponent's face and eyes. Again, this is eye poking. Pretty much, see, will be a foul. I mean, a lot of times they don't really call it a foul if they're not touching, but as long as it's not hitting them, it seems to be. Downward pointing elbow strike. So this is one that we need to get rid of right here. The downward strike. Oh, I don't know what happened there. They just made this rule legal. 12-6. It is now legal. So this one, kick the can. Groin attacks of any kind. Any attack in the groin, including striking, grabbing, pinching, or twisting, is illegal. And it should be clear that the groin attacks are the same for men and women. Now, this is probably good. I mean, back in the days, I think before UFC became the UFC, they are actually able to do this stuff right here. So, twisting, pinching, grabbing, striking. Luckily, they got away with that, and now they wear protective gear. So, kneeing and kicking to the head of a grounded opponent. Okay, this is another one we got to get into, right? This is another one they just changed, so we got to get into this. A grounded fighter is defined as any part of the body other than a single hand and soles of the feet touching the fighting area floor. To be grounded, both palm, fist down, and or any other part must be touching the fighting area floor. A single knee arm makes the fighter grounded without having to have any other body part in touch with the fighting area floor. So a single knee, arm, or arm. So now that is not part of the rule anymore. They're not grounded if they have one hand on the floor. So good there. So at this time, kicks or knees to the head will not be allowed. So I think they got away with that. They finally got rid of that rule because everybody just like, oh, I just got to put my fingers on the mat and we'll be good. Nobody can kick me in the head. Now that they've done that, you know, they're going to be more thinking about getting out of the position, protecting their head, and trying not to get stuck in the knees to the side of the face. So stomping of a grounded fighter, basically curb stomping. It seems like, you know, just don't stomp on their head. I'm not going to go into too much about that one. Holding opponent's glove or shorts. So this is another one. The fighter may not control their opponent's movement by holding onto the opponent's shorts or gloves. A fighter may hold onto or grab their opponent's hand as long as they are not controlling the hand by using the material of the glove, but actually gripping the hand of the opponent. It is legal to hold onto your own gloves or shorts. So, again, I think I went over this a little bit in the last video. Basically, when it says that you can't grab inside their glove. You can hold the wrist, you can hold the hand, you just can't hook the glove. Shorts, and that's pretty obvious. It would be pretty funny to see someone get pants though. You know, hopefully Derek Lewis does in one of his hot fights and says, "Oh man, I thought his balls was hot." So, let's keep going. Holding or grabbing to the fence of the ropes with fingers or toes. So this happens way too often. I think there's too many warnings on it. Everybody should know. I mean, yeah, this really does. This is the main variable that changes the outcome of a fight. I mean, there's so many fights that you can go through and be like, oh, could have changed. So a fighter may put their hands and feet on the fence and push off of it at any time. The fighter may place their hands or feet onto the cage and have their fingers or toes go through the fencing material at any time. When a fighter's fingers or toes go through the cage and grab hold of the fence and start to control their body position or their opponent's body position, it now becomes illegal. So as long as you're doing this, well, they're kind of weird shaped, right? Those diamond shapes, you gotta get your fingers in. As long as you're doing that, kind of relaxing, as long as you don't grip those fingers, you should be good. And allow rest will call it, be like, hey, don't grab the fence, don't grab the fence. This is why a lot of fighters now just palm it. So they don't have ropes, they have a fence, blah blah blah. Let's keep doing that. Yeah, if a fighter holds and grabs a cage because of the infraction following, a fighter ends up with a superior position due to the foul. The fighter should be restarted by the referee. Stand in a neutral position after determining if a point deduction is appropriate. Small joint manipulation. So fighters must grab a majority of the fingers or toes for all use at the defense or manipulations. Fingers and toes are small joints. Wrist, ankles, knees, shoulders, and elbows are all large joints. So basically you can't twist a finger, break a finger, break a toe on purpose. I mean, sometimes it might happen. I mean, what, Pereira broke his toe kicking Yuri in the head. Such a rough knockout to see, but what a good fight. So I know that's not necessarily a foul, but just don't grab the small joints. Okay, throwing the opponent out of the ring or cage area. I want to see this at least once in my life. This would be hilarious to see. I think the best fight that this would have happened in was Conor McGregor versus Khabib. That would have been hilarious. If either one of them got thrown out of the ring, I think that would have been the one that this should have happened to. So it is what it is. Hopefully we see it once. Intentionally placing a finger into any orifice or into any cut or laceration of your opponent. So this is basically, the fighter may not place the fingers into an open laceration in an attempt to enlarge the cut. The fighter may not place the fingers into opponent's nose, ears, mouth, or any body cavity. So basically, yeah, it is what literally what it says. Don't, because it's gonna hurt a lot too. If you put your thumb right into a cut and you start moving it around, that's gonna hurt a lot more. Especially if you're grappling, you have the control of their arm or something like that, you know. So, clawing, pinching, twisting the flesh. The targets the fighter's skin by clawing at the skin and attempting to pull or twist the skin. To apply pain is illegal, so no titty twisters. Timidity. Avoiding contact or constantly dropping the mouthpiece or faking an injury. So this literally is saying don't be a bitch. That's all it's saying. Make sure you're standing your ground, fighting. There's points in the fight where you gotta, regroup, so you do run around, but that's not timidity. It's recentering yourself, regrouping yourself. So, the use of abusive language in a fighting arena. The use of abusive language is not allowed during MMA competition, which I think this one is so lenient. There's so many people that, you just hear them swear over and over and over again. Yeah, so I think this is more lenient than not. Even though you probably shouldn't, to just be respectful to the company, to the ref, to the fans. But it happens. Flagrant disregard of the referee's instruction. The fighter must allow the instructions of the referee at all times. Any deviation or non-compliance may result in points being deducted from the fighter's scorecard or the fighter being disqualified from the match. So basically, round ends, they keep fighting, or one of them's fighting, the other one's trying to walk away, tossed. In sportsmanlike conduct can cause injury to an opponent. Every athlete competing in this sort of MMA expected to represent the sport in a positive light, emphasizing sportsmanship and humility. Any athlete that disrespects the rules of the sport or attempts to inflict unnecessary harm on a competitor who has either been taken out of the competition by the referee, has tapped out of the competition, shall be viewed as unsportsmanlike. There's a few weeks ago, there was a fight where things got heated at the end of the match. I can't remember who it is. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, told you this one was going to be long and in detail. Attacking the opponent after the bell has sounded. Again, so this is at the end of the period of armed combat. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. This happened during the Burns and Cosma fight. I think it was round 2. End of round 2. Cosma kept coming forward and Burns just finally kicked him off, and Cosma came back and attempted to punch him. So, is what it is. Attacking an opponent or during the break. This would be insane. Imagine watching two fighters sitting on the corners, on the stools, getting ready, and one of them just jumps up, sprints across the ring, and starts pounding on the guy. Attacking an opponent who is under the care of the referee. Again, this is another one where it's a little bit harder. Like, someone gets knocked out on TV, you can tell they're knocked out in the moment. You might be able to tell. Most of them do tell, but you're taught to keep going until the bell rings, the ref stops you, right? So, there's a couple times, or more than often, I shouldn't say a couple, there's more than often times where the ref will dive in, guy's mid-swing, finishes a punch. He technically hasn't under the care of the referee, but he technically is. So it's one of those things where just as long as you don't keep going after the ref is on, it should be alright. Interference from a mixed martial artist, corner, or seconds. Interference is defined as an action or activity aimed at disrupting the fight or causing an unfair advantage to be given to one of the combatant. Corners are not allowed to distract the referee, influence the actions of the referee in any fashion. So, this right here is what I think. So, I think we went over it. Tim Welch, Sugar Sean's coach, when they fought Aljamain Sterling, said, "Go Aljamain, go," right? Technically, that wasn't to the ref. You can't belittle the ref. Can't, do all that stuff. Again, I went over this. You should know the voice of your coach. If you don't, you might want to be thinking about getting a new coach or trying to understand and learn your coach's voice. So that's what it is on that. For that, we will. That's about it on that venture. So we got some fouls going. Let's see what else we got. We got a whole list of fights to go over. There's so many fights I want to go over. So many of them that I think will be good. Don't mind the blanket. Freaking cold in the basement podcast. All right. So basically, what I'm going to be doing now is going to be breaking down the fights. I think what I'm going to try to do is watch the fights. I can't stream it on YouTube for copyright purposes, so I'll be watching it to the side. I'll be commentating, I should say, that fight. And after every round, I'm going to break everything down, kind of go from the judge's perspective of how I think the fight went. Right. So I don't really have scorecards with me. I'm just going to go based off of what I think the round is, who won. I'm not really up to par on the 10. What is it? The 10 scorecard the 10 must scorecard. So what I'm going to be doing is breaking down everything: the strikes, grapple time, clinch. I think clinch is going to go out the window. I don't think I'm going to count for that. It just means it's even ground for me. My opinion, that's even ground. All that stuff. We're going to break that down, go round by round, and at the end of the round, before we figure out who won that fight, even though we already know we won that fight if we watched the fight, right? We go back through every round, and at the very end, per round, whoever has that card, we will see if we were right, the rest were right, you were right. Did the rest get it wrong? Did they get it right? Who knows? We're just here to have fun. Guys, I do appreciate your time tonight. It was a blast. I think all the boring stuff is finally out of the way, even though for me, I just want to get everybody else to know the better understanding of fighting, the sport of UFC and MMA, understanding the rules of judges, referees, fighters, can and can't do. There's a whole nother list that we can go through if you want to do that, like all the doctor, the medical stuff, and like all that stuff if you want to. If you want to, just please let me know. We can go over that. So, again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please tell someone you love them. KO with that sub. Jab that like. And I will catch you next time. Peace.